Bone anatomy. The study of bone is called osteology. The skeleton system, it consists of two types of connective tissues, that is bone and cartilage. Bone is a connective tissue in which matrix become hard by the deposition of calcium, phosphate and other minerals, and this hardening process is known as mineralization or calcification. To better understand the anatomy of a bone, we will use a long bone. The shaft or the main portion of the long bone, that is called diaphysis. The wall of diaphysis is composed of compact bone, and inside there is a cavity which is called marrow cavity or medullary cavity. This medullary cavity, it has yellow bone marrow which is stored fat. Expanded regions which are present at the end of the long bone, they are called epiphyses, and epiphyses are composed of spongy bone. So, spongy bone that contains red bone marrow, where blood cells are produced like red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets are produced from red bone marrow present in the spongy bone. Outer surface of epiphysis, it has a thin layer of cartilage that is called hyaline cartilage or articular cartilage. It is present at the joint. Epiphyses are separated from diaphysis by a small region of mature bone that is called metaphysis. It contains epiphyseal plate or growth plate. Epiphyseal plate, it is the region of cartilage which allows the bone to grow. But when the bone stops growing in early adulthood, the cartilage is replaced by the bony cells and epiphyseal plate that becomes epiphyseal line. Periosteum. Long bone, it is completely covered by a thin layer of fibrous connective tissue which is called periosteum, and periosteum, it has blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerves. These blood vessels penetrate the periosteum, enter into the bone, and it divides into smaller branches like capillaries which are distributed here in the compact bone, spongy bone, in yellow bone marrow and red bone marrow inside the long bone. So, this is the long bone, here is the diaphysis, expanded regions which are present at the end of the long bone, that is called epiphysis, and at the junction of epiphysis and diaphysis, this is the region that is called metaphysis, and when bone stops its growth, then it becomes epiphyseal line. Now, structure of compact bone. The basic unit of compact bone is an osteon. Osteons are cylindrical structures, and these cylindrical structures, they are known as osteons. Like this is the compact bone, and in this compact bone you can see here many cylindrical structures are present, and these cylindrical structures are known as osteon. So, each osteon that has many concentric rings, these are concentric rings which are present here in the osteon, and these concentric rings are called lamellae. Lamella is singular, lamellae is plural. These concentric rings are produced by bone forming cells, and these bone forming cells are called osteoblasts. So, osteoblasts that produces these lamellae which are the concentric rings, and later on osteoblasts differentiates into osteocytes which are living bone cells, and these living bone cells which are osteocytes, they are present along with lamellae here in small spaces, small cavities, and these cavities are called lacunae. Lacuna is singular, lacunae is plural. In each lacuna there is a single osteocyte, that is a living bone cell that is present. Now, the adjacent lacunae, they are also interconnected through tiny canals, and these canals are called canaliculi. Canaliculus is singular. So, lamellae are the concentric rings which are produced by the osteoblasts. Then osteoblasts differentiates into osteocytes. They are present here in these cavities, and these cavities are called lacunae, and these lacunae are interconnected to each other through small tiny canals which are called canaliculi. Each osteon that has a central canal which is known as Haversian canal or osteonic canal. So, these are the osteons, and in each osteon this is the central canal, and central canal it has blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerves, and these blood vessels they distribute food to osteocytes which are the living bone cells present in these cavities which are called lacunae. Shape of the osteocyte, that is spider shape, because it has cytoplasmic extensions, and these cytoplasmic extensions they extend through these tiny canals which are called canaliculi, so that osteocytes they are connected with the neighboring osteocytes through the gap junctions. So, what are perforating canals or Volkmann's canals? Perforating canals, like this is the central canal which is present in this osteon, this is a central canal present in this osteon. Now, these central canals are interconnected through this canal which is called perforating canal or Volkmann's canal, and this perforating canal it is at right angle to the central canal, and it is a connection between the osteons. So, the osteons which are present in the compact bone, and in each osteon the central canal has blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerves. They are also interconnected with each other through these perforating canals or Volkmann's canals. So, this is the structure of compact bone. Compact bone is composed of simple repeating units structures which are called osteon, and osteon has concentric rings, and in the center there is a canal which is called central canal, and osteocytes are the living bone cells which are present here in the cavities. Spongy bone. Spongy bone, that is also known as cancellous bone or trabecular bone, and spongy bone its structure is less complex as compared to compact bone. Spongy bone does not have osteon. So, osteons are absent from spongy bone, and spongy bone it has thin plates which are called trabeculae. Singular is known as trabecula, plural is trabeculae. So, these are the thin plates which are present which constitute the spongy bone. They are called trabeculae, and in between the trabeculae these are the spaces, cavities where red bone marrow is present. And from that red bone marrow blood cells are produced, like red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets are produced from red bone marrow. So, what is the structure of each trabecula? In case of trabecula, it has concentric rings, and these concentric rings they are called lamellae. And these lamellae are produced by bone forming cells which are called osteoblasts, and these osteoblasts later on differentiates into living bone cells which are called osteocytes, and osteocytes they are present here in these cavities which are called lacunae. Lacuna is singular. In each lacuna there is one living bone cell is present which is known as osteocyte. And the difference between trabecula and osteon, each osteon has a central canal, but that central canal is not present in case of trabeculae. So, that is why the blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerves they are present here in spaces between the trabeculae, and they distribute food nutrients to the osteocytes, and they also collect wastes from the osteocytes. To sum up, osteology is the branch of biology that deals with the study of bone, and skeleton system that consists of two types of connective tissues, that is bone and cartilage. Mineralization, that is the hardening process, that is known as mineralization. Long bone that has diaphysis, which is the main portion, that is the shaft of the long bone, diaphysis. Expanded regions present at the end of the long bone, that is epiphysis. At the junction of epiphysis and diaphysis there is metaphysis, and periosteum, which is a thin layer of connective tissue that covers the long bone. Long bone that has compact bone and spongy bone, and compact bone, it is composed of osteon. They have concentric rings which are called lamellae, and these lamellae are produced by the osteoblasts, then later on differentiates into osteocytes. They are present in cavities which are called lacunae, and these lacunae are interconnected through tiny canals which are called canaliculi. Spongy bone that is composed of thin plates, they are called trabeculae, and the difference between trabeculae and osteons, that the central canal is present in osteon and absent in case of trabeculae. I have a question for you. Please write answer in the comment section. Which type of bone contains cavities and bone marrow? Spongy bone, compact bone, marrow bone, yellow bone.